think that the conversation between Messi and Ronaldo, everybody's got a favourite, and I think it's just so
Who's
difficult.
yours? Welcome to the kit breakdown, guys. We are going to basically ask Rob today to talk through two iconic kits, but more importantly, the players that actually play in them. Cristiano Ronaldo and Lionel Messi. Absolutely phenomenal players. I cannot believe that Ronaldo is 40 next year and he's playing in the Euro Champs as we record this. Absolutely incredible. But what we thought we'd do today is actually talk through the Adidas Argentinian kit and the Nike Portuguese kit. Yeah. So, over to you, Rob.
Exactly. We are the kit breakdown, and so we're more interested in the kits than the players today. Also because I think that the conversation between Messi and Ronaldo, everybody's got a favourite, and I think it's just so
Who's
difficult.
yours?
Do you know what? For the longest time, it was Ronaldo. I just loved his sheer athleticism, and my argument was always you could stick him in any team, a team at the bottom of the Premier League, and he'd make a difference because of his style of play wasn't dependent on having good players around him.
100%.
I think over the years I've come to appreciate Messi more and more, just in terms of the sheer art of how he plays.
Yeah.
But I think again that's what makes it so difficult to compare them, because it's like comparing a Lamborghini and a Aston Martin.
Yeah.
They're incredible in their own right, but very, very different machines. So interested in how different are the shirts and who's got the better one. So that is something that we can definitely settle, is who's got the best shirt, Messi or Ronaldo. So I'll start with this Argentina shirt here. So we've got the authentic jersey provided for us by Subside Sports today, as always. So it's super lightweight. The material doesn't have a huge amount of, if any, texture to it, which is unusual. Normally you would expect there to be some texture to that to stop it from clinging to the body.
And this will be worn at the moment in the Copa.
Correct. Yeah. So I feel a little bit let down by the fabric compared to some of the things that we've seen previously from Adidas. Right. But the details, the weight of it, it all feels, very, very like it's built for an elite athlete. So
visually it looks, I'm looking at it from here. Visually, it looks stunning.
Yeah, we've got the heat transfers right the way across the front, which I know fans prefer embroideries, but when it comes to the athletes, they definitely prefer having the weight reduced out of it. There's a nice little shine to the three stripes on the shoulder, which stands out nicely. As we've seen over the last few seasons from Adidas, they're using this flat knit as the rib, so that means it's not folded over, it's knitted as one piece and then sewn into the garment. On the back, love the Argentinian icon. The sun on the back there really stands out beautifully. But it does add to what's a fairly heavy collar at the back. I've done my best to research exactly what this is supposed to do on the back. It appears to be some sort of performance feature. I've not found it in any of the Adidas press releases. I'm sure some of our viewers will be able to tell us about it.
My guess would be, that's an area of a lot of heat. Yep. And whether that's the opportunity just to kind of
stand it away from the neck a little bit. That's
what
my take on it would be. The shirt's got some of the hallmarks of the 2006 jerseys. So those of you that remember those, I'm sure you've all seen them, even if you weren't watching the tournament at the time. So some of the little details, they stand out more in perhaps some of the European jerseys than this one. But a lot of the features taken from that. And then the mesh on the sides is really nice too. So this is where they have got a lot of detail and texture built into it. So that's really nice, and it does feel kind of like Argentinian kits of the past. Yeah. The other thing I think they've done really nicely is the way they've constructed this underarm for freedom of movement. I know you're a big fan of a pivot armhole yourself, Craig.
Yeah, I am. I like a pivot armhole.
And they've done a lovely job of this, including putting a seam through it.
Nice.
So if you want to learn more about pivot armholes and all the more complex aspects of designing kits, why not head across to Spark Design Academy, where you can sign up for our course and learn all about how to design and present football kits like a pro.
There you go. So what we're thinking about the Portuguese one then, Rob?
So the Portuguese
Let's
one.
have a look at the.
Yeah,
you're doing that.
You've taken a look at the Portuguese one already in our other video that you can see here. I like it. It's a lot more plain than the Adidas one. I really like the texture of the fabric, but it does feel quite heavy compared to what we've seen from Nike previously, and certainly compared to that, it's got a lot more weight to it.
Yep.
Obviously, the advantage of that is that with that one being so flat and light, there is a real risk that that'll stick to the athletes' bodies. I guess we'll see that within the tournament.
I'm not a fan of that fabric.
No, not at all. I mean, part way through talking about it, I had to check myself as to whether it was the replica or not.
Yeah.
I do like this detail here, but again, it's not flat knit. So whereas I've just called out on the Adidas one that it's flat knit, so it's a single layer, this is a more traditional circular knit, so it's folded. So in this area here, you've actually got 4 layers of rib on the sleeve, so it's adding quite a lot of weight. Similarly around the collar as well. So yeah, it feels a little bit like it flatters to deceive, and I'm sure some people in the comments would say the same about Ronaldo as well. Particularly given his penalty record. I know people like to say that kind of pads his stats a little bit. Personally, I think that's unfair. But yeah, I think if I'm going to pick a winner out of these two, I am going to pick Lionel Messi and Argentina. But that's not to say that it's by any means the perfect shirt. I think there's certainly things I would have done very differently with it.
I think that's just looking at the two of them, and obviously, as Rob said, I've had a look at the Portuguese kit quite in detail. For me, the Argentinian kit, they've hit the post with the fabric.
Yeah,
totally. Visually, it's beautiful. I mean, really, really nice. As you say, the flat rib that they've got on the collar is really nice. It's got a tiny little mesh detail going through it, which is lovely. I'm not a massive fan of the shiny arms, but I don't mind it. But yeah, I think if you could combine the two together, I think you'd have an absolute world beater.
Which, to a certain extent, brings us right the way back to Messi and Ronaldo. I think if you could have combined the two players together, there'd be no argument about who was the greatest player of all time.
Could you imagine that?
The height, power, skill.
Wow, absolutely incredible.
Yeah, so the argument will rage on. Who's the better player? Who was the better player, Messi or Ronaldo? And who's got the better shirt? For me, it's Argentina, but probably similar to both the players. I think they've both looked better in the past. So do you agree, disagree? Let us know in the comments. If you've enjoyed the video, don't forget to like and subscribe. And until next time, take care. We'll look forward to seeing you then.